Hello and welcome to the first episode of Tech Time with Mr. D. This is the first in a series of videos based on the technology we use here at St. Ambrose. The goal of this series is to show you different features of the tech we use and hopefully give you some tools and ideas to help you in your classroom. The first few videos will focus on things to help you as a teacher, things like one-on-one webmail, which we're starting with today. I'm planning the second video being a refresher on the eCatholic school website, and then there'll probably be one or two on PowerSchool. Later on, if you guys find these videos helpful, then we can branch out to things that will help you with the students in your classroom, things like Discovery and Studies Weekly. If there's any particular topic you would like to see me do a video on, please let me know. Your feedback is going to be a key part of this series. This series is designed to help you guys, so please let me know what it is you'd like to see. Also, if you think you're doing something awesome in your classroom with your students and you'd like to share it with others, please let me know and we can design an episode around what you're doing and get your awesome stuff out there as well. Now, one downside to the series is that you have to listen to my voice, although I'm pretty sure you could mute me and put some music on in the background and get just as much out of this. I did design this first episode to sync pretty nicely with Dark Side of the Moon, so give it a shot and let me know how that works out. Alright, enough with the jokes and on to today's first lesson, and that'll be on one-on-one webmail. Okay, so as you can see, I'm here on the login page for one-on-one webmail. I think most of us probably have this saved in our favorites, but if you don't, up here in the address bar, you can see the web address. I'll enlarge it there for you. It is webmail.oneandone.com. So I would say if you do not have it in your favorites, you probably should go ahead and do that. Down here, you'll enter your email address. Our email addresses are all in the same format. Again, mine is thomas.delaney@stambroseschool.net. And then your password. Now, most of us, I think probably, or a lot of us have our password remembered in here. Just a word on passwords. I know we have a lot of different websites and things that we use and have passwords for. You really should probably make a list of your passwords somewhere. My suggestion would be to put them in a Google Doc, and this way you can always access them. Because again, we between this and Simple K-12 and iReady and the website and PowerSchool and on and on and on, we have a million passwords, and that doesn't even get into our own personal passwords for websites and stuff like that. So my suggestion again is to go to a Google Doc and make a list of your passwords. Okay, so now ready to go. I'm going to click login, and here we go. Okay, so welcome to my one-on-one inbox. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is give you a basic tour. Now, I realize that some of you may have a different view. I'm going to get into the settings in a couple of minutes, but it's basically the same. But there are a couple different layouts here, and you can kind of choose the one that suits you best. The main one here is mail. Okay, so it kind of defaults to the mail page. If you look up here at my cursor, it says the word mail, and currently highlighted there in black is the number 1, which means I have one unread email. I'm sure, in fact I know for a fact that some of you have, a few more than that. Kind of another quick aside, I would say that if you have one of these people who have 999 plus unread emails, it's probably worth half an hour or an hour of your time sometime between now and when school starts to go through and kind of clean that up. All right. I kind of make it my rule here is that I never have, try every time I log in, I either read the emails or delete the ones that are junk. I know we get a lot of junk, but every time I'm done with an email session, I want to have no unread emails. Okay. They're either been read or they've been deleted. Okay. So here within, also underneath where it's highlighted there, it says inbox. Now, I have several different folders, which I can show you how to make a little bit later on in the video. It's an inbox for drafts, so if you start an email to somebody and have to stop, you can save it as a draft, and that's where it'll go. Sent objects will show you emails that you've sent out. Spam, here's a good spam one. All right, spam is email that one-on-one thinks is not good, that they're advertising or things that you don't necessarily want to see. It's probably a good idea every so often to check your spam, because occasionally you will get something from a parent, or you'll get something from a website you signed up for, and it goes into spam. And if you never check your spam, you never know it's there. Okay. So here, I just picked on one that says Teacher Vision. Okay. It's in my spam. Now let's say you get an email from a parent and it ends up in your spam. What you can do is, first of all, you want to come up over here and follow the cursor. It says Add to Whitelist. If you click Add to Whitelist, what that does is it kind of takes it out of the spam. It tells one-on-one that yes, you can send that to my regular inbox. Okay. Then if you want to move it, it's still in your spam folder. If you take it, you can actually physically go and drag it to your inbox. And therefore it's not in your spam, and it's now in your inbox. I'm going to go ahead and delete all of my spam and go back to my inbox. Okay, so far, so good. That's mail. Next up, you have your address book. And your address book is filled with your contacts. The contacts kind of fall into two different categories. All right, there are the contacts, which they're called contacts here. And you can see I have 113 contacts. Those are contacts that you enter in. So I'll show you how to do that in a couple minutes, but that's, you're going to want to do that with your parents. So I'm going to show you that in a couple minutes as well. And that's what that's for. You also have what are known as collected addresses, and that's basically everyone who's ever emailed you. They kind of get put in a folder off on the side. They're not really in your addresses, but you can, when you go to type something in at a certain point, it'll try and autofill to that at least. So it's helpful there. There is a calendar and a task tool, which I really don't use. So I have no idea what really kind of, I should say I have no idea, but it's there's a lot of different calendar features. If you're interested, we could maybe sit down and look at it. There's Portal, which is kind of an overview of what's going to show up on your page. You can kind of customize that a little bit as to what shows up and placement a little bit. All right. Back to my inbox. Here's an important one. Over here in the upper right hand corner, you'll see highlighted in blue, over here, it says View. That's how your mail is going to be displayed to you. All right, so the layout, here's a couple different layouts. So layout is vertical. That's how I have mine. I'm not sure if that's a default or not, but I happen to like this particular layout. So if you try a different layout, so let me change this to compact. Okay, that's pretty much the same thing. Here you get horizontal, okay, which instead of having them again vertically, it lays them out horizontally, and you can click on the wet thing and now it displays underneath as opposed to the right. And the last one is list. And list just takes up the entire page with your list of emails, and then when you click on it, it pops up, and then to get back to the list you would click back. So whichever one of those you think is best, you go ahead and can change that. All right, I prefer vertical. Okay. So far, so good. All right. All right, next we're going to look at some of the settings. Okay, in case you're interested in that. So up here you will see in the upper right hand corner, you will see 3 lines. Not to be confused with the 3 dots from Google, but the 3 vertical lines, excuse me, 3 horizontal lines, and it says Edit Settings. So I'm going to click on that, and it says the first thing is Edit Settings. Okay, and you can read this. There's not a whole lot to do with this. You're not going to want to change the language or the time zone. The refresh interval, I believe, is set at 5 minutes, which means what that means is it's going to check every 5 minutes for new emails. There are different themes. The default is 1-in-1 Modern, I believe, or maybe not. There's other ones. So I use 1-in-1 Modern. You can check the other ones out. To change it, it requires you to go out and come back in again, so I'm not going to do that, but it's there if you want it. If you want to do high contrast, so it basically flips it around from white on black to black on white. That's fine. You can do that as well. On the left-hand side here, the only other thing that you would ever want to worry about down here is change your password. So the last feature over here is change your password. If you ever decide you want to change your password for any reason, and we've had some issues where people either forget their passwords or people have gotten into other people's mailboxes, whatever. All right. And again, like most websites, it requires you to enter the old password and then you'll enter your new password. All right. And that's basically it with the settings. Okay. There's one other thing I want to show you that to me was like a game changer. And for years, I never really used it. But here, it's like the greatest thing ever. And that is in the upper left-hand corner here. There's a box that says search. Okay. I know we get lots of emails. I mean, we probably get, we get dozens of emails from Dr. Cadella alone during the course of the week. Then you throw in ones from parents, and then I'll send you tech ones and things that's for Power School and other teachers, and we get them from the diocese and all the other stuff that we get. So sometimes, you may get 20 or 30 emails a day that you want to keep in your inbox. And you might say, Dr. Cadella might say, all right, I need you to read this, from last week. And you're thinking to yourself, like, how am I going to find that one email in this sea of emails? Okay. And the answer to that question is you're going to use the search box. Okay. Now in the search box, you can type anything you want. So if I type Cadella, and I get a couple different options. I just get the name, which will search everything, or you can search in the subject, the text, or the person. So if I just click on Cadella, every email that's come to me from Dr. Cadella is here. Okay, or he was included on. All right. Let's say you want to search by the subject. So let me put in Power School here. Not Power School 4, Power School. Okay, and now emails about Power School. So it allows you to narrow your focus. Okay, to me, I kind of find it incredibly useful. Most emails have them. I know Optum has it, Google has it. So most have this feature where you can search. It's something that for a long time I never really took full advantage of. And I'll be honest with you, I use the folders on the side here sometimes, but mostly the search feature kind of for me has replaced the folders. All right. So that's the basic overview. All right. So if you want, you can take a break. I'm going to pause this for a second, but then I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you how to create contacts and to actually go into Power School and pull your parent emails and add them and to create a parent list. All right. So let me pause this for a second and I'll be back in a minute. Okay. So now I'm going to show you how to create contacts, how to pull the information and copy and paste it from Power School into your one-on-one email account, and then how to create a distribution list. So the first thing I want to do is I want to X out over here in my search bar where I was showing you guys how to look for Power School. So this brings me back to the beginning. All right, and I'm going to click on Address Book, like we were on a couple minutes ago. Now, up here, you'll see the tab. It has one-on-one email. And there's a little button here for a new tab. So I'm going to open a new tab. From there, I am going to go to the Power School tab. So again, you should have this saved. If you don't have it saved, I will send the link out in an email at a different point. Again, this is the Power School login page. Again, I'll do a whole thing on Power School, but I think most of you have been here already. So let me enter my login information. Okay, so this is the landing page, the opening page for Power School. Right? If you look here, here's the little chair which you will use to take attendance, and there's other features here as well. And there's like a schedule and a seating chart and lunch, a lot of stuff here that we don't use, although you can use if you want. Over here on the right-hand side is the backpack. So I'm in my homeroom. I'm going to click on the backpack. The backpack is basically a whole series of information on the students. So you'll see over here it says student information. On the left-hand side here, it has all the students currently enrolled in my homeroom. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the first one, Veronica. All right. And this particular page is something, and you should all be familiar with this, it's called a quick lookup. What this is, it's an overview of all the grades of your student. This is actually the page the parents see when they log into the parent side of PowerSchool. But you can see, again, obviously we haven't started the class yet, but you can see these are all the classes that Veronica is currently enrolled in. And once the grades start rolling in, I'll be able to see what her grades are. And you'll be able to see the grades of any student you teach. So if your student is struggling in science and you're curious if they're struggling in anything else, you can check on this really quickly, and you can see if it's kind of just a science thing or if it's a, if they're struggling across the board. Up here in the upper right hand corner it says select screen. So here are some things that you're going to find. A lot of these, again, you're not going to look at too much. A lot of the information you can find other places. The two I want to show you real quick. The first one is called Net Access Summary. If you're curious if your parents ever look on PowerSchool, that is where you can look and see how many times through their account they've accessed that. The one we're going to look at now is called Demographics. Demographics has the information for your students. So here it has Veronica's name, her address, her phone number. All right. You can't see that because I blocked it out, but it's there. And then down here, as I scroll down, you have the Guardian email. Okay? So what I am going to do is, with my cursor, I'm going to go to where the email is, and I'm going to click with the left button, and I'm going to drag it and highlight it. Once it's highlighted, I'm going to use the right button, and I'm going to select Copy. All right? So again, left and drag, right-click, Copy. I am now going to click back over to one-in-one. So again, you're just navigating between the tabs on top here, student information and collected. All right, I mean in one-in-one, excuse me. In address book, right underneath, there's a thing that says new. All right, I'm going to click on that. I'm going to put add contact. And this screen comes up, where it has all sorts of information you can fill in. For me, I like to do them by their last name. So when I create my list, I just use the last name. It's easier for me to sort it that way. All right, so I put in her name there. Then down here, it says email one. So I'm going to click in that box, and I'm going to either right-click and paste it, or you can do Control-V and paste it. Okay? And now, down the bottom here, I'm going to click Save. So now, when I look at my contacts, okay, so now I've added Veronica's mom, to my email, and she's now in my addresses. Okay, let me do one more for you just to show you again. All right, so over here, I'm going to click on the left-hand side here, Ryan Bell. Same thing. Left-click, drag, right-click, copy. Back over here. New contact. Last name, Bell. And down here, I'm going to right-click and paste and save. All right. So now let's assume I've gone through and done that for all the students in my class. Now I want to create my list. So I go again to New, and this time I'm going to select Add Distribution List. So the first thing you want to do is name it, and I name them by the class. So this is the class of 2019. And then here's a box that says Add Contact. So now if I start to type box name in, shows up, and there's my list. And then I go and type Bell, which I already had, and it adds that to my list. And then Pertel, and so on and so forth. All right. When you're done, you want to go down here and you want to click Create List, and it now saves the list. All right. And you'll see it just showed up in my addresses. Okay. It shows them contacts too, but it's there. You can see last year's class of 2018. All right. Now let's say you want to edit that list. Okay, so to find it again, go in your search class of 2019. Here's my list. Okay, up here it says new, send mail, invite, and edit. So now let's say you put someone in error. You notice there's a trash can next to each of them. If you need to delete one, you can delete it. And then again, it looks just like it did before. Add a contact. So I don't have them saved. All right. So, and that's how you would do that. All right. Pretty simple. All right. The last thing I want to show you is how to write an email. So you want to click back on top here to mail. To write an email, you click compose. You've all written emails either from One-on-One or some other website. In the to box, you can, and what the good thing about saving the address is if you start to name it, you can put in the individual. Or if you want to send it to the list, you would just start to type it in and now the list, and it'll auto add them all. All right, so it's really pretty cool. All right, so I think that about wraps it up here. It did run a little longer than I intended it to, but that's okay. The rest of them, excuse me, hopefully will be a little bit shorter. So please let me know if you find this useful. If there's something I can do better next time, or if there's anything else you'd like me to do a video on. So thank you guys, and I'll see you next time.